So let's say that you have some debt to pay off. This is not very much a hypothetical for a lot of people because it seems like everyone has a lot of debt to pay off. And let's also assume that you want to pay it off. This is also a bit of an assumption because some people have it in their heads that not paying off their debt and using that extra money to do other things is a good idea. It's not. Now, when it comes to paying down debt, there's usually two schools of thought. One school says that you should pay down the debt that's smallest first, and then move to larger and larger debts until you're paying off the largest one. The other school of thought says that you should work on the one with the highest interest rate first, get that paid off, and then work towards the lower interest rates. Now, proponents of the first school of thought, which is known as the Debt Snowball, state that the benefit of doing it that way is that you can pay off some of your debts in full sooner, and that gets you motivated to do more. Proponents of the other school of thought, which it has a branding problem, it doesn't have as good of a name. I've heard Debt Avalanche but proponents of that school of thought say that the benefit of paying off the highest interest rate first is that you'll pay less money. You'll pay less. The highest interest rate gets gone first, you'll end up spending less in interest and therefore have more money to pay off all of your debt sooner. Now, in personal finance circles, this has kind of turned into a bit of a holy war, with people on one side saying, like, you don't understand human psychology, and the other people going, you don't understand math. Being a fan of humans and psychology, I've always tended to favor the debt snowball method. I love the motivation aspect of it. You can pay off some debts and be like, yeah, I can do this. Let's do some more. You get motivated, you get pumped up. And that's how you succeed, I think. But let's be honest. I understand how math works, and you're gonna pay more using the debt snowball over the long term than by this other method. But after a while of hearing these arguments back and forth, I want to figure out how much money are we talking about here? Presumably, if there's a motivational factor, but you're going to be paying zillions of dollars more over the long term, that's a motivating factor too. So today, on this video, we're going to do what I call a debt math punch-out. We're going to take the same hypothetical situation and run it through a simulation of debt snowball and debt, whatever you want to call it, and then see what the difference is. Is there going to be a big difference? Is it going to be huge? Will this change my mind? Let's find out. Okay, let's start with some ground rules. It goes without saying that every debt situation is different, and therefore each situation has to be judged on its own merits. But I thought about it, and I came up with a scenario that seems to be a good representative sample of a debt situation for most people. So consider the following debts. I've got a personal loan, a credit card, and a student loan. The personal loan is $20,000 at 15% interest, with a $400 minimum monthly payment. The credit card is $10,000 at 10% interest, with a $200 minimum monthly payment. Finally, there's the student loan at $8,000 at 5% interest with a $100 minimum monthly payment. Now, I can hear some of you saying, who has only $8,000 of student loans? I have $100,000 of student loans. I get it. Everyone's situation is different, but I have to pick something. And this is a representative sample of a high interest loan, a medium interest loan, and a low interest loan. So back to the scenario. Let's also say that you've allocated $800 to spend per month on debt. Now, in this scenario, you have $700 in minimum monthly payments. So this gives you an extra $100 to allocate as you see fit. That's how we'll start the scenario. Let's do it. Okay, first off, the debt snowball. This plan involves paying off debts in the following order, starting with the student loan, then moving to the credit card, and then finishing with the personal loan. We start by allocating $400 to the personal loan, $200 to the credit card, and $200 to the student loan, which is the minimum plus the $100 extra that we have. At $200 per month, it will take 44 months to pay off the student loan. And during that time, you're going to pay about $8,770 total. Then, from there, we move over to the credit card. We now allocate the $200 that was freed up from the student loan that we've now paid off to the credit card, so that we're now paying $400 a month. At that rate, it will be 10 more months until the credit card is paid off. Now, at this point, we're 54 months in, and now we can allocate all $800 to the personal loan. At this rate, paying $800 a month, it'll take only 12 more months to pay off this final loan and be done. So let's look at the totals. The total time was 66 months, and in that time, the total amount paid was approximately $51,200, with a total interest paid of $13,200. Okay, round 2. In this round, we're going to pay off debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. And that turns out to be the reverse order from the previous way, the debt snowball. In this way, we're going to start out with the personal loan, and then move on to the credit card, and then finally the student loan. So we start out allocating $500 to the personal loan. That's the $400 minimum payment plus the $100 extra that we have to spend. And then minimums the rest of the way. $200 to the credit card, and then $100 to the student loan. At $500 per month for the personal loan, it will take 56 months to pay off the personal loan. And in that time, you pay about $27,900 total. Meanwhile, once we're done with that, we'll move over to the credit card, which, after 56 months of $200 paid each month, we now allocate the $500 that was freed up from paying off the personal loan, so now we're paying $700 a month. At that rate, it will only take 3 months until the credit card is paid off entirely. Now, 59 months in, we're going to allocate all $800 to the student loan. At this rate, it will only take 4 more months to pay off this final loan and be done. So let's look at the totals. The total amount of time was 63 months. The total amount paid was approximately $50,300, with a total amount of interest paid of $12,300. Okay, so let's recap. In the Debt Avalanche method, we were able to pay less money and pay off the debts sooner. But here's the key. It wasn't that much sooner. In the Debt Snowball method, it was only 3 months behind, and it was less than $1,000 extra paid over that time. That turns out to be about $14 a month, or about 1.7% of the total amount of debt paid. And what did we get for that? Well, with the Debt Snowball, we were able to pay off our first debt 1 year sooner. And that is not insignificant. When you pay a debt off, when you get 1 fewer bills in the mail, when you can actually see that you're making progress, that's going to make you feel motivated, and you're more likely to continue. If you just keep chipping away at a big debt, never paying it off, it's going to feel like it's going to be there forever. Finding ways to keep yourself from getting discouraged is one of the most powerful ways that you can pay off debt, regardless of the method. So looking at this scenario, I think the Debt Snowball wins. I think paying a little bit of extra money, but not a lot of extra money, a little bit of extra money over the course of multiple years in order to feel like you're making progress and to see that progress, I think that's a price worth paying. Now, like I said, every scenario is different. If you've got some loan that's small but has a low interest rate and you have a slightly larger one with a higher interest rate, we don't need to be dogmatic about this. Get the one done that's going to make you feel motivated to continue. Because I know the surefire best way to not pay off debt, and that's to give up. So, while I stand by my conviction that paying off debts, smallest to largest, is the most effective way to pay off debt, I want to hear what you think. Leave me a comment below and let me know. Let's not get into an argument. I understand how it both works, but if you've had a different experience and you've found a different way to stay motivated, I want to know about it. If you'd like other tips about paying off debt or financial wellness in general, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm doing this to help you. But let's be honest, there's a limited amount of interactivity that you can do in a video. So if you're interested in one-on-one personal financial coaching, I've got a link below. Click on that. Let's talk. Dealing with finances is hard. Luckily, you don't have to do it alone. But that's all for now. I'm Mike Pumphrey for Empathic Finance. And until next time, thanks for watching.